Hi, guys. Welcome in to another edition of Right on Rangers Live. We sure do love doing these after a Rangers victory and one in which the offense really comes to life, finally. Feels like it's been a while since the Rangers put up even close to 10 runs, and they do so today, winning 9-7 in the final game of the series against the Detroit Tigers. Rangers take 3 out of 4 in Detroit, and we will get into everything into the game as time goes on. We still got some people joining in from what it looks like. Welcome. Thank you to everybody for choosing to participate and watch us. We know you got a ton of other options, but thank you for your support. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, following, all that good stuff. A lot of you know, but for those of you that are new at Right On Rangers here, we cover pretty much all things sports, but we put a little bit of extra emphasis on the Texas Rangers and all the teams we love from the great state of Texas. So let's get into it. First of all, I think the big lead for today has to be Leody. Leody Taveras, in my mind, is probably the most polarizing Rangers player. There's so many ups and downs with him. I think it's a little bit of a love hate relationship with me personally. And I think today was a perfect example of that. So, first of all, Leody Taveras made a humongous error today in the game that probably cost the Rangers. Obviously, it cost them about 2 runs at minimum, and 3 runs if you want to include the double that Leiter gave up after the error was made. And for those of you that didn't get a chance to watch, it was bottom of the third inning, I believe. Bottom of the third inning, or actually, it might have even been in the fourth inning. Fly ball to deep center field. Well hit, obviously. It landed on the track ultimately, but Leody kind of going back, kind of slows up, and then kind of starts going back fast again. For all those who have been Rangers fans for long periods of time, I think you might be able to think of a particular play in October in a really, really big series that maybe that reminds you of. I won't say anymore, but Leody made one of those plays today in center field, and it cost Jack Leiter not a quality start, but a start that definitely would not have looked as bad if you just checked out the box score and didn't know anything that had happened in the game. So Leiter, of course, on the ledger, 7 earned runs. Probably should have been 4 earned runs. I don't think Leiter was probably going anywhere past the fourth inning. He goes 3 2/3 today. If Leody makes that catch out in center field, I think that they probably pull Leiter for the day, and his stat line ends up being 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, and then of course 4 innings pitched. So look, not a great start from Leiter today. Let's not sugarcoat it. It wasn't a great start from him. He got a really, really big offensive outburst from his team, multiple times, allowed the Tigers to get back into the game. So it was 4-0 at one point, gave up the 4-0 lead. Then it was 7-4 Rangers at one point, gave up the 7-4 lead, and that's ultimately when Leiter was pulled from the game. So look, I liked some of the things that I saw from Leiter. That first inning, he got into a little bit of trouble, but first batter of the game, strikeout, and you saw some of his stuff at work. I'm excited for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we get a few more starts with Leiter. I don't know what their plan is with him, if they're going to be sending him back down or if they're going to give him a little bit of an extended run here. We'll see. I think as the starters get back, though, as Scherzer gets back, Molly, I think it's going to get tougher and tougher for Leiter unless he is just killing it. If he continues to have starts like this, I don't know if this is going to be the year that we see him nonstop in the rotation, but I'm going to enjoy seeing the starts that he does get before all the guys come back healthy. But back to Leody, he makes that play, which is, I think, worth 3 runs right there, because the Tigers, after that play with 2 outs, are able to tie the game 7-7 when the game was 7-4 before that error. So I think that's 3 runs on Leody right there. Then in I think it was the couple innings maybe after that, Leote gets on base, actually hits a double, and you're thinking, okay, a little redemption here. Makes a terrible base running mistake, right? You're at second base, ground ball is hit to your right, right? Ground ball's hit in front of you. Then you go back to the base. So a ground ball hit hard to shortstop. Leote starts moving to third base when it's an easy retreat, and he gets into a rundown. Somehow, an act of God, Leote is able to avoid the tag and get to third base. I have no idea how Urshela did not get Leote on that tag, but absolute miracle, Leote ends up making it. And I think totally bails himself out of what would have been a lot of scoring coming his way. I mean, if he gets out there, Rangers, who knows what would have happened afterwards? It's so tough to do that in baseball. It really is. But at the same time, probably the game changes in a big way because we had a lot happen after that absolutely terrible base running mistake. I'm just going through my notes right now. So uh, after that, Leote double, and he gets totally bailed out, not getting tagged out when he got into the rundown. Right after that, he ends up scoring on a very fortunate throwing error, and the Rangers are able to take the lead. I mean, it really was a very fortunate series of events. And then, of course, in the ninth inning, Leote ends up tacking on a very important insurance run. So, I mean, Leote just makes you want to pull your hair out. I think he's such a high potential player. I think that's the best way to frame it with Leote. He is a very high potential player. He was the top Rangers prospect for a couple of years. I don't know, maybe 5-10 years ago. Leote was the top prospect in the Rangers farm system. So he has tons of potential. The question is it all ever going to finally come together for him? And so I'm not sitting here by any means wanting Leote to be DFA'd, benched, anything like that. I think the Rangers are better when Leote is going well. And if Leote can live up to the potential that he has, this could be an extremely dangerous lineup. Leote can hit the ball hard. He's got good speed. He can be a good fielder. We saw him make a couple of plays today, going back into his left, a couple of tough plays. He's capable of making the great plays, but he just has these momentary lapses where you just wonder what is going on in your mind? Seriously, the base running mistake today, hard ground ball. He's at second base, hit right in front of him. I know we all have brain cramps out there, but dude, you're getting paid millions to do this. Like, come on, man. It's just a tough moment there in that game with him because you think about all those frustrating plays, but then he goes and ends up being a big contributor to the win. Gets out of the rundown after the bad base running mistake, ends up scoring, tacks on an insurance run. So you got a little bit of everything from Leote Taveras today. I'm just going to check comments here, guys, but thank you so much for everybody tuning in. Hi, Maya. Appreciate the comment. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everybody tuning in today. Thank you. So let's keep going with some other big stories of the game here. So Kirby Yates, I praised him. I waxed poetically about that guy yesterday. And then, of course, on Monday, Kirby Yates, big save in a 1-0 ball game. But Kirby Yates comes in once again, pitches more than 3 outs. Can't imagine we're probably going to see him tomorrow after going back-to-back days with multi-inning work. Of course, he did 1 1/3 yesterday to get the win, even though it was kind of a save situation still, right? Yates technically gets the win yesterday. He gets the save today. And Kirby Yates has just been absolutely phenomenal for this Rangers team. I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, I don't know where we would be without Kirby Yates. You don't have a shutdown closer We probably lose the Monday game, the 1-0 game. I mean, look, maybe we don't. Maybe somebody pieces together a fortunate outing and we end up getting some of these saves, but we easily could have lost several of these games against the Tigers. Pretty much every win came down to the wire, right? You think about Monday's game, you think about Wednesday's game, Thursday's game, today. Every game came down to the wire. I mean, Kirby Yates just so fortunate that we have him. And again, his stat line: 1 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 1 hit and 1 strikeout. Yesterday, dude struck out every out, right? It was 1 1/3, 4 outs, and he got 4 strikeouts. So he is just on another level right now. Still a 0 ERA on the season. What a pickup by CY in the front office to get Kirby Yates. And then great job, Maddox, Bochy, all of the pitching coaches and coordinators to get the most out of him. I mean, Kirby Yates is not, a young 20-something, right? He's getting up there, probably on the back nine of his career. I think he is on the back nine. So credit to the coaching staff as well for getting the most out of him. And I think you could say that same thing for Robertson. Not that those guys aren't good pitchers already, right? Kirby Yates has been an all-star. Robertson, same thing. Those are all-star players. But look, at the end of the day, they are on the back nine. And you got to give credit to Maddox and the pitching coordinators and staff that are getting the most out of those players, especially. So Kirby Yates, big game for him today. Once again, closing the door. Jose Leclerc actually gets the win. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Good to see you, man. Glad you made it. Kirby Yates gets the save. Leclerc actually gets the win. And Leclerc had to make things interesting, as he always does. Leclerc, of course, came in with 1 out left to go, I believe, in the 7th inning. And then Yates comes in with 1 out to go in the 8th inning. Leclerc walked a couple of guys, didn't give up any hits, struck out 2. We all know Leclerc has to make things interesting, though, but to his credit, he goes an inning without giving up a hit or a run. Yates is able to slam the door in the 8th and clean up some of the Leclerc mess from the 2 walks. And we get a win today. On our way to Atlanta. Happy flight to Atlanta. Glad for the boys. And hopefully tomorrow we carry those positive vibes into our series against Atlanta. Atlanta is going to be a tough series. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. We'll continue to focus in on the game from today, but that Atlanta series is going to be a good measuring stick for this Rangers team. I think Atlanta is off to a pretty good start themselves. I'm interested to see how the Rangers do against the Braves. But let's wrap up with this game first before we get into that. Marcus Semien, huge day for him today. Absolutely huge day for Marcus Semien. He goes 3 for 6, home run, double, notably. And to start the game off, I just love that from Semien today. Start the game off with the home run. You know you got a guy making his major league debut, and you just instantly put everybody a little bit at ease with the 1-0 homer. I mean, I just love that from Marcus Semien. And you know those guys are thinking about that. You know they're thinking about Jack Leiter, first major league start, and wanting to put some runs on the board for him. And they did. And you gave Leiter 7 runs basically to work with. It was 7-4 going into that 4th inning, the bottom of the 4th inning. I mean, that was a lot of runs for a guy making his major league debut. I know Leiter wishes that he could have had a better game today, but look, the important thing is you got the win, and there were some positive signs from Leiter. I really hope this is the start of Semien going on a tear. I'm going to highlight this comment. Pat, appreciate you, bud. So, Semien, and I've said this for Seager, so I don't want to copy or reuse this over and over again. But really, Semien and Seager, if those guys are both hitting, this team is hard to beat. I mean, I said as Seager goes yesterday, the Rangers go. And Seager had a couple more hits today. So back-to-back multi-hit games for Seager. It's just a feeling for me. So, look, I'm being picky. I'm going to say that right now. So I'm being picky here. Siege it still feels like he's not quite there, even on the heels of back-to-back multi-hit games. It still doesn't feel like Corey's quite there yet. But look, 2 hits yesterday, 2 hits today. It's hard to complain. I know I'm being picky. But if Simeon can get going, and Simeon has been hitting very well, let's check out his last 7. While we're talking about him, let's check out his last 7 games. Last 7, I don't know if these stats are updated, but 2 homers in his last 7 games, 7 RBIs last 7 games. So I'd say Simeon's playing pretty well right now. And if he can go on a tear, man, that's going to be so helpful for this Rangers lineup because it all just falls down from there when Simeon is hitting well. When you got a guy at the top of your lineup who's hot, getting on base, everything just falls into place from there. So I hope it is. I hope this is the start of something big for Simeon. Great to see him start off the game with a homer today and also come up with another couple of big hits as well throughout the game. So we talked about Leiter's debut a little bit in the stat line. By the way, I'm gonna debut this today. Got a little ticker going for you guys, so we're gonna let this run for a while. I added in some little fun facts from the game, some stats, whatnot. So hey, it's a little thing. So we're just like ESPN here, basically. So check it out. We'll get the ticker going, give you all the stats and major highlights from the day. So Leiter, his stat line, he goes again 3 2/3 of an inning, and he gives up, I believe, total of 8 hits, 3 walks, so a lot of base runners, 3 strikeouts. So even in 4 innings pitched to see 3 Ks, the ability's there. He can strike guys out. He just struck out 10 guys in his last minor league start before this first MLB start. So he's got strikeout ability. Absolutely, but today, too many base runners. Bochy in the postgame said he wasn't hitting his spots consistently. But you see, I think, it's easy to pick a box score apart, but if you watched him pitch today, I think you can see what the Rangers see, and you can see what makes him that first-round caliber player. He has great velo. He had a great fastball today. The off-speed stuff is very solid. I think that this definitely isn't how he wanted to start. But that being said, I really feel confident as he gets into the bigs and gets his feet wet and gets more opportunities. I think he's going to be okay. He made a big jump this year after a really shaky 2023 season. I think he's made a lot of positive strides. Not sure how long he's going to stick with the big league club, especially as we get guys back like Scherzer, like Molly, but time will tell. So let's keep going. Let's talk about Josh Smith. Josh Smith, 7-game hitting streak. 7-game hitting streak for Josh Smith, and he was on base 2 times today. And I thought it was especially impressive. They bring in Chafin, the lefty, in the 8th inning, right? And obviously lefty-lefty matchup, not super ideal for lefty Josh Smith, but he singles to lead off the top of the 9th inning. I think it was actually the top of the 9th inning, tagged up on that Langford fly ball to center field. And then Duran gets the 2-out walk, and Leote gets us the insurance run. So Josh Smith, I'm going to continue to brag on him. What a replacement he's been for Josh Young. It's hard to replace Josh Young. You really can't replace him, just his presence in the lineup. But Josh Smith sure has done a good job. I'm just so impressed with him. 2 runs scored today. He goes 1 for 3 with a walk. That on-base percentage for Josh Smith, over 400. Glad to see that they've got him in the 5 spot. So Josh Smith hit 5 spot today, right behind Doley, and didn't let you down. I'd like to see Smith hit 3. I'd like to see him hitting the 3 hole. Evan Carter goes 0 for 4 again today. I think that average from the 3 spot for the Rangers is now down around 165. Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford combined hitting like 165 from the 3 spot. I'm not going to go on about this forever because I've spent time going on about the past 2 days now, but I just think they've got to make a change. Josh Smith would be great in the 3 spot right now. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs, but he's going to get on base and he's going to be productive. I would really like to see them give him a shot. Even Jonah Heim. I know Jonah Heim was hitting 7th today. I think Jonah Heim is one of your best hitters right now. I want to have my best hitters or my hottest hitters up towards the top of the lineup if at all possible. I think Heim could easily be a top 5 hitter in this lineup, top 6. I know Langford had a pretty solid day today. He goes 1 for 4 with a walk as well. But Jonah Heim is just killing it right now. I mean, Jonah Heim was hitting 320, I think, his past 7 games as of last night. And you add in today, I think it's about the same. He's hitting over 300 past 7 games, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. This is all past 7 games. Jonah Heim, he is just absolutely killing it. Yeah, I like that. I like that comp. I like that comp. It's kind of the sixth man in NBA terms, right? Josh Smith just stepping in there. Not like you're, bona fide starting player in the major leagues, but I mean, dude, at this point, keep doing what you're doing, and you surely will be. I mean, you're hitting over 300 with an OBP of over 400. There's not a ton of guys doing that in the major leagues consistently. And I think we've got a big enough sample size from him, 50 plus at bats, to say, okay, this isn't just like a hot start. I mean, it's a long season. He could fade, but I really like what I'm seeing from Josh Smith. Glad that they're hitting him fifth. I love that spot for him. You got to get the guys that are getting on base up towards the beginning of the order, at least in the middle of the order, because the Rangers at this point, up to that point, I think it struggled a little bit offensively against the Tigers, against the A's. They struggled against the Astros. There were some struggles minus that one Friday night game. So you got to do what you got to do to put players in the right positions, even if it seems a little bit different, just a little bit like, this doesn't feel right. But if a guy is hitting well, get them more at bats. That's the bottom line. Let's keep going. I think we covered our big leads for today. Talked a little bit about, the 3 spot and the Evan Carter struggles. I don't know. I think they're just going to stick with it. That's my prediction. I'm going to predict that they don't make a change there, even though I think temporarily they probably should. But that's my prediction. I think that Bochy is probably going to stick with Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford in that 3 spot and just ride it out till somebody finally hits. But I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me at what point, because I got some pushback when I first made this point, but you guys tell me at what point do you consider a move? Maybe it's right now. I kind of think it's right now. But at what point, if you're feeling like Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford need to stay in the 3 spot, if that's how you feel right now, those guys need to stay there. They need to be our 3-hole hitters. At what point then do you finally say, okay, all right, now it's time for a change? Is it 2 months when they're still hitting below 200 combined? Is it, middle of the summer? When is it? When do you finally say, okay, we got to mix things up here? There's enough guys that are hitting really well in this lineup that might be able to help us from the 3 spot. I don't know. I think it's now, at least for a temporary period of time. You see how it goes. But I don't know. I think Smith is probably the guy that you have in the 3 spot at this point. Maybe Heim. I agree, though. Those are about the only 2 guys that I think you even try there. I think everybody else is fine where they're at. Now, let's keep on going, and let's talk about a couple of other big moments in the game. We talked about Leote and some of his moments in this game that are just going to make your blood pressure rise and just give you heart problems. The Leote error, of course, and then the base running mistake, but then he ends up coming through late in the game. What a polarizing player. I think Leote, though, if the Rangers can get him consistently playing well, he is a good ball player. Leote's a good ball player. We can't DFA him or send him to the minors or get rid of him. I know there's people that would gladly like to do that. I don't think you get rid of Leote or bench him or anything like that. He's got too much potential. He really does. I really feel like Leote has yet to unlock everything that he can do. If they can get that guy playing high caliber for a consistent period of time, I mean, this Rangers lineup is just going to be murderer's row, seriously. Let me go through my notes. I kind of do notes every inning here. We talked about Simeon's bomb to open up the game. We talked about Leiter's good bottom of the first inning. Then things got a little bit messy for him. So beyond that, we had, of course, Garcia's home run. Dolly goes 2 for 5 today with a nice bomb. I'm going to give myself a little bat pack here. I actually said Dolly homer in my reel that I posted before the game today. So I'm going to take my wins where I can. And I did say Rangers scoring 9 runs today. Ended up happening. Thought that the pitching was going to hold a little bit better. I think my score prediction before the game was 9-3. Obviously, it ends 9-7. But hey, it's fun when you get these predictions right every once in a while. It doesn't happen very often with the score prediction, but there's been a few times this year where I've managed to get pretty close, or at least get one of the two teams' total runs scored right. So 9 runs today. Dolly hits a homer. Heim hits a home run. Of course, Simi as well. Great to get that fortunate error from the Detroit Tigers, throwing error by Torkelson. And really, I felt like the Tigers helped us out a fair amount in this series. Just my feel. I don't know how many errors they committed. I don't think it was double digits, but I'll tell you what, felt like at least 6 or 7 errors from the Tigers over this 4-game set. Felt like at least they averaged an error a game. I could be wrong on that, but that's what it felt like for me. It was like an error at least every game. I think today, how many was it today that they committed? 3 errors today. So the Rangers got a little fortunate. I mean, we did score the game-winning run off an error. Leote tacks on the insurance run. But I feel like we had a few booted balls out at second base that were helpful. I know in this game there was kind of a bobbled ball. We ended up getting an infield single out of it, out at second base. So there was definitely some fortunate plays that went our way defensively when you're thinking about the Tigers. We'll take it. We'll take it. You got to take it. The Rangers, though, speaking of their defense, we talked about this. I think Aaron brought this up yesterday, but they have not been playing. The Rangers haven't been playing their level of defense that they had last year. And of course, Josh Young's out. He's a great defender down at third base. Really, though, Josh Smith has not been making that many errors down there. I do think that having Duran play first base is not ideal, although he had a few nice picks today. But 5'11", I mean, look, it's not ideal for a first baseman in the major leagues. Not ideal. You want a guy 6'2" plus minimum for your first baseman. Just what my preference is. So I think that things are going to get better as Nate Lowe comes back, as Josh Young comes back eventually. But it did kind of feel this game with the Tigers like Tampa last year. Tampa in that 3-game set, we ended up winning it in 2, but Tampa totally melted down defensively in that postseason series that we had to kick everything off last year in October. I remember both games. It was shoddy at best, and we ended up benefiting big time. Now, we hit really well in that series, no doubt. I mean, and we pitched really well too, but Tampa definitely made some big mistakes out in the field that gave us a little bit of an advantage. I really do feel like Nate Lowe and Josh Young, those two guys are going to make a big difference for the defense once they get back out in the field. Beyond that, let's talk about the matchup for tomorrow. This is actually one of the first games, and I really hope that, as I like to say, that those Rangers' ears will hear this and just prove me wrong. I would gladly be wrong, but this is one of the first games that I'm kind of feeling like this season, like I don't know about this one. Every other game up to this point, I've really felt like, you know what, no matter who they're throwing, I think we have a pretty good chance. But Andrew Heaney has not pitched well this year, and he's the starter for tomorrow, carrying a 6.75 ERA, 0-2 on the year. Chris Sale is going for the Braves. He's got a 4.58 ERA on the year, and a lot of positive energy around him this season, like just that he's kind of found his groove again, had a good spring training. So, look, I don't know. I'm not sure what he did in his last start, but Chris Sale, we'll see, lefty. So Rangers will probably have their lefty lineup out there. We'll see if Evan Carter starts or if he plays. Maybe they give him a little bit of a day off. But I don't feel super, super confident about tomorrow. Obviously, we're betting Rangers, and we're going to go with our system all 162 games. This is probably one of the first games I say to myself, this is going to be a pretty tough game for the Rangers to win. So I hope That being said, that it's like a 15-3 Rangers win tomorrow. Heaney looks great, and the offense just torches Chris Sale. That is usually what happens when we make these kinds of predictions. But I think it's going to be a tough game for the Rangers tomorrow. You got Andrew Heaney, a guy that's not been pitching well, going up against a pretty tough offense in Atlanta. Doesn't look like there's a ton of guys that have seen Heaney on the Braves. Olsen has seen him the most. Olsen is, let's see, 5 for 15. And then you've got a couple other guys that have a few hits off him. Kellenic got 3 hits. Everybody else, not much. So on the other side, same thing. It looks like Simeon has seen Sale 15 times, and I want to say he's 4 for 15 with 2 homers. So maybe tomorrow we get a little Simeon home run again. Maybe he goes back-to-back days with homers. So Simeon, 2 homers off Chris Sale. Seager 0 for 2. Kisner, who I don't think is probably going to play tomorrow, but maybe he will at some point in the series, 0 for 3. Heim is 1 for 2. Garcia 0 for 2. So not a lot of Rangers players have seen Chris Sale consistently, but I think we can handle him as well. I really do too. I think that Heaney just needs to go 4 or 5 innings, give up maybe 2 runs, and then we got to turn it over to the bullpen. Heaney's not probably going to give you 6 or 7 strong. That being said, please do it. Please do it, Andrew. Give us 6 solid innings, 2 or 3 runs allowed, quality start. I would love to see it from him. Would love to see it from him, but it's going to be tough. Braves in Atlanta, Friday night, Apple TV Plus, because I know all y'all got that Apple TV Plus subscription. I don't want to get started on a blackout rant. I told myself before I got on today, I'm not going to do it. Not going to rant against blackouts for the 1,000th time, but it's frustrating. Friday night, MLB, you would think they would want to just get as many people's eyes on a game like this as possible, right? Get as many people's eyes on what I would consider to be 2 of the top teams from each league, a marquee interleague matchup, Braves-Rangers. I mean, I don't know. I would want to get that on Fox, just local, so everybody can watch it. But no, what do I know? Apple TV Plus. Yeah, it must be working. The system must be working for them. They must be getting a lot of people, a lot of suckers subscribing. I'm not doing it. I'm finding alternative methods, and that's all I'll say. I got my ways, but I am not buying Apple TV Plus. No, thank you. So hopefully we don't have too many more of those games, but the Rangers already 3 weeks into the season. I think I've been on Apple TV Plus a couple of different times. It's just unfortunate. I mean, again, at least the local people in the DFW area, at least the DFW fans should get to see the game on their cable subscription or whatever subscription you have. That should be the minimum. I get it, everybody around the country maybe, but don't do that to the local fans. At least give local fans a Bally option or something. I'm not saying Bally's amazing or anything like that, but at least give the local fans the Bally option. So we'll see what we've got going on the rest of this series, by the way, and then we're going to wrap things up here, guys. So Heaney versus Sale in the matchup for tomorrow night. Then on Saturday, looks like we are throwing Eovaldi. So Evo goes on Saturday night, and Charlie Morton is opposing for the Braves. And then in Sunday's game, final game of that set, for I think the Rangers get an off day, Lorenzen will go, and not sure who the Braves have going. So Lorenzen goes Sunday, Evo goes Saturday, and then we have Heaney going tomorrow night. So hopefully this is a series the Rangers can take 2 out of 3. That's kind of my mentality. Let's get 2 out of 3. Have to sweep, I wouldn't mind it, but Braves are a good team. I'll be very happy with 2 out of 3 going into what I believe is an off day on Monday. Let me double check on that. Yes, it is. And that makes sense. The Rangers have been playing quite a bit of late. No off days. This was a little bit of a brutal stretch for them. So they'll get an off day on Monday. Hopefully Lorenzen brings his A game on Sunday to close things out in that series. You know you're probably going to get a gritty performance from Evo. Hopefully a few less earned runs from him. So I'm going to go ahead and say 2 out of 3 for right now. That's my prediction for this series for the Rangers. Always going to be positive. Lorenz incomplete game shutout. Oh my goodness. If that happens, that would be absolutely amazing. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, guys. Well, hey, couple of things before we go. If you wouldn't mind, we ask for this every time, but appreciate anytime you can like, share our videos with other people, especially on Facebook. Let's keep having some fun with this challenge, huh? 1 cent betting on every Facebook follower I have. I think we're up to 2,037. I just checked it before the live, so we added a couple new followers today. But hey, spread the word, especially to those friends you got that are Rangers fans. Follow the account. Let's keep having some fun with this challenge we're doing throughout this 162 game season. Back-to-back wins have got us back into the black. I think we are, I want to say, up roughly about 25-ish dollars, but I'll have the calculation out to you. I had some people messaging me earlier today asking me what the update is. Always give the update on the system and the reels that I put out before the game. So check those out. I'll have another one now, probably early afternoon. It's kind of nice to have a night game after 3 straight day games. So I'll have that video out to you guys early afternoon, previewing the pitching matchup, giving you an update on the system, giving you some of my predictions on the game. So thank you for sharing with a friend, sharing with a fellow Rangers fan, and spreading the word about Right On Rangers here. We love this. We love that you guys are deciding to join us. Thank you for tuning in. It's what makes this fun. It's why we started this, talking baseball with Rangers fans, covering the team that we love. This is what it's all about. So, guys, thank you again. And as we always say, God bless and go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great Thursday and a great weekend ahead if I don't see y'all. Bye now.